the most powerful people in the world still get nervous. The difference between you and them is that they know how to channel it. And that is exactly what I'll be teaching you today. Hi, I'm Nimi Mehta. I'm an international TV and radio host, the founder of Speaker, a platform that is empowering women all over the world to master their confidence, their communication, and their public speaking. I've trained CEOs, founders, women leaders all over the world. And I've actually stood on stages that I genuinely once thought were just way out of my league. But the truth is, I wasn't always this way. I was the most scared little girl you would have ever met. I was in the corner of every single room. I wouldn't make eye contact with anyone. I wouldn't speak unless spoken to. And even then, if someone spoke to me, it would be the biggest panic in my mind. I was scared of pretty much every individual apart from my parents. Not because they did anything bad to me, but purely because I was so scared and fearful of speaking to people. I was so insecure. I had no self-worth or self-value. I used to have panic attacks in really, really big moments. And as I've grown into adulthood and tried to carve a professional career, I stayed silent in rooms when I really should have been speaking up, really because I had no idea what my voice was and how to use it. So I really had to rebuild myself from the inside out. So if you are sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, well then how did you do it? Well, the first thing I want you to know is that I get it. I've been there and I'm not going to gatekeep. I know what works and I want to share that with you. So listen, I can skip all the way through to giving you 1, 2, 3 on what you should do to get there. But I think first we need to identify exactly where we are right now. If you're at the beginning of your confidence journey, if you are at the beginning of starting to realize that you really just want to own your voice, own your presence, and just master walking into any room with confidence, then you know what it feels like to be doing the absolute opposite. Maybe you're someone who avoids speaking up in any situation, whether that is a meeting room, whether that is an interview, whether that is a personal conversation with a friend or family member where you just feel like you know what you want to say, but you just don't know how to say it. Or you're just absolutely terrified to. Maybe you're afraid of being judged or criticized. Or you even overthink everything that you've said hours after the conversation you've just had. The thing is, when a lot of women see other confident women, they think that that's not for them. Oh, she must have been born that way. Oh, she's naturally like that. Oh, it's just her character and her personality. Wrong. It's not just meant for other women. It's meant for you. But before we get into the steps of how to get you from anxious to confident, you need to understand one thing: the meaning of the word confidence. The origin of the word confidence stems from the original Latin word called confidere. When you break that word down, confidere, you break it down into English terms, we're talking confide. And what does confide mean? It means to confide in other people, but more than anything, confidence means to confide in yourself. That means trusting one's self. So confidence isn't about being fearless. It's about building habits and mindsets that truly work for you in your favor and trusting that you can do it. So let me show you how. I'm going to break down 4 steps that will help you get from anxious to confident from the get-go. And these are things that you can start to implement into your life from the second this video ends. Step 1 is shift your mindset. Now, we already just did a bit of that mindset work, but let me trail back to it a bit. Confidence is not in the absence of fear. I'm going to say that one more time. Confidence is not in the absence of fear. People have this massive misconception that if you are confident, that means that you have zero fear. Again, we were lied to. That's not what it means. Fear is always going to be there. We're human. Fear is something that is instilled in us. But the difference between someone who's at the beginning of their confidence journey and someone who is really, really doing the work is that they're able to push through the fear and do it anyway. It's the decision to act, regardless of the fear and the anxiety that you're feeling. Mel Robbins has this really interesting way of kind of reframing what nerves mean. She said there's a way to reframe nerves into high energy. So instead of saying, oh, I'm really nervous, or thinking to yourself, oh gosh, I'm so nervous to do this, you actually are saying to yourself, oh, I've got really high energy right now. Because that's exactly what it is. When we think about the word nervous, we're breaking it down into nerve. Nerves are something that run through our body because what happens is our nervous system completely breaks down. If anything, it seizes up and doesn't know what to do when we're nervous or feeling anxious. It is your mind's job to break that down and to calm that nervous system back to regulation. And all that takes is a simple mindset reshift. completely reshifting what you think nerves represent for you. I use this analogy all the time, but that is that excitement and nerves really have more similarities than you realize. Let me explain. I want you to think about you being at one of your favorite artists' concerts, right? You have waited years and years to be front row to see them perform. So there you are, standing front and center, waiting for them to come out. The smoke starts to fill the stage. You start to hear the first beat. You know they're about to enter that stage. What's physiologically happening to your body? Your heart starts beating really fast. Potentially your palms start to get a bit sweaty. You get that sick feeling in your stomach, butterflies just going around everywhere. Potentially even start shaking. That's excitement. Now hold on to that thought, because the next thing I want you to think about is you're about to enter onto a stage where you're about to address hundreds of people. The stage manager on the side signals to you, you're about to go on in 30 seconds. So what's physiologically happening to you? Your heart's beating really fast, potentially your palms even getting sweaty. You get that sick feeling in your stomach that something's about to happen, potentially even shaking. You see where I'm going with this? Excitement and nerves have the same physiological response. In knowing that, you should be able to reframe what anxiety and nervousness looks like to you. It is a charge of energy that is rushing through your body, and you can control it. It's not something that controls you. The thing is, your body feels the same whether it's excited or nervous, but your brain's label maker changes the outcome. Step 2 I want you to take to get you from anxious to confident is building your micro habits. Confidence is built in the tiny actions you take daily. I cannot stress this enough. It's not in the big, massive steps that you take. It's in the tiny little habits that you are doing, repeatedly doing consistently over and over again. I know we see a lot of stuff on social media right now about how important your morning routine is and, come and spend the day with me. And you see people having, such a structured, organized day. Some people sit there and I see in the comments people saying, oh, that looks so unrealistic. How is that even possible? This person has just nailed their micro habits. And if they're doing this day in, day out, what they're doing without realizing consciously or subconsciously is truly building their self-value, self-worth, and their confidence from within. That's why morning rituals are so important. It really does set your tone for the day. Now, I don't believe in affirmations and I don't believe in looking in the mirror and telling yourself you're amazing. I feel like that's a bit wish-washy. But when I stopped starting my day by scrolling on Instagram and seeing what the world's updating me with and switched to 3 minutes of power breathing and journaling, my energy shifted completely. There's a great book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and he says small wins compound into identity shifts. Small, tiny actions, small wins really make all the ways when it comes to these big changes and transformations that we want to make in our life. Maybe your morning ritual looks like getting up in the morning and praying. Maybe your morning ritual looks like standing up, shoulders back, and just breathing in and out. Maybe your morning ritual looks like checking your posture and ensuring that your body is aligned with the energy that you want to exude that day. Now, when I say journaling, what I really mean by that is I couldn't journal the normal way that normal people do. I found that really boring and I couldn't wrap my head around it. But what I did do every single morning is write a list of everything I was grateful for. That list would have 20 to 25 things on it, and every day it would be completely probably the same things over and over again with a few random additions added. From listing out family members' names, to my dog's name, to air in my lungs, to the food I have on my table, to materialistic things like my car and the house that I have. I mean, there's literally nothing that can't be written on this list. Everything that you are grateful for. And the reason why this shifted my confidence is because the second I would wake up in the morning, I would be acknowledging all the things that I have. And the way that I saw it was that all of these things that I have that I'm writing down right now is essentially the machine and the power behind me. And when you know you have this machine and this power and this deep gratitude for all of the things that you have in life, it makes you stand 2 feet taller. It makes you feel so great about yourself. And that's the energy that I would bring to my life every single day. Step 3 is expose yourself to discomfort. So one thing we need to understand is that confidence comes from reps and not theory. What I mean by that is literally like when you go to the gym and the more and more reps you do, the stronger your muscle gets. You don't build muscles just because you're thinking about building muscles. Just like how you don't build confidence just because you are thinking of being more confident. You've really got to put in the work. And when you put in the work, work, you've got to put it in consistently. You can literally start with low risk practice. So when I'm talking about exposing yourself to uncomfortable situations or out of your comfort zone situations, you can start small, speaking up once in a meeting, introducing yourself to a stranger. If that's too far for you, don't even speak to them, smile at a stranger. Volunteering or putting yourself forward to do a presentation. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, do one thing every day that scares you. She really knew what she was talking about, because if you are not doing something out of your comfort zone, you are not growing. Comfortable scares me, but at the beginning, when I was this really insecure, fearful girl, comfort zone was where I lived. That is all I wanted. I didn't want to see what was outside those four walls. It was only when I slowly started to peek outside the doors or peek outside the windows that I realized that the world is so much bigger, and not just the world, but I am so much bigger. The last and final step I want you to take to get you from anxious to confident is preparation. I want you to be so anchored in preparation, because confidence isn't about you thinking you're perfect. It's about being ready, and that is the key. Preparation kills 50% of your nerves. Imagine that. In a moment where you're feeling really nervous and anxious, if I came along with a wand and I said, listen, I can get rid of majority of what you're feeling right now. All I have to do is wave that wand and it will go. Of course, you're going to stand there and you're going to be like, yes, please, Nimi. Obviously, I don't have a wand and I'm not a fairy godmother. But what I do have is the ability to tell you that you need to prepare. If you have a big talk coming up, if you have a meeting that you need to conduct, if you have a presentation, you need to prepare ahead of time to ensure that you are ready on the day. A lot of people feel like they just need to wing it and, oh, it will come to me. It's not going to come to you. Your mind's going to go blank, you're going to break down, and then afterwards you're going to hate yourself. And then the cycle will repeat itself because you're just going to be so full of fear, full of nerves that you're going to mess up again. I want you to think of confidence like a parachute. Preparation is what packs it correctly. Without that, the jump feels terrifying. So in anything you do, whether that is setting out your day and your daily routine, whether that is a massive keynote speech that you have coming up, if you are feeling the nerves and feeling the anxiety, the only thing that's going to make you feel better majority of the time is to get ahead of it and prepare your mind and your body for it. So you can walk into that moment knowing that you did everything necessary. The thing is, I can't even imagine where I would be if I let anxiety win. I'd probably still be quiet, still be waiting, still be wishing that my life would be different. But instead, I chose to take one tiny step every day. So all you need to do is make that choice and it will change your life. Confidence is not a finish line. It's a practice. And every single one of you watching right now have the ability to build your confidence. It is just a choice you need to make. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you found it helpful. I want you to tell me in the comments which steps you're starting with. And if this really did help, hit subscribe, because I need to keep talking you into believing in yourself. So let's do it together.